Judith Corley-Lay, who leads TSP2's, the National Center for Pavement Preservation.
I'm here to brief you on the Pavement Preservation Expert Task Group. Tom Van did a little bit of this, but I'll add a little bit more. So I'm going to talk today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Pavement Preservation Expert Task Group. Tom did talk a little bit about this. I want to talk a little bit about the purpose and the organization. I found some old FHWA documents from when this group was initially formed. I'll talk a little bit about who is involved, and I want to be upfront with you all. It is not totally accurate, but I will try and fill in a few more names that have been added. Talk about the working group activities and then our upcoming meeting. This is an FHWA ETG. I like the cartoon. It says, it's our new mission statement, just do more. To me, when I was with the North Carolina DOT, it seemed like we were always being asked to do more. So I thought as DOT people, you could relate to that mission statement. So what was the goal from the very beginning? Well, it was to advance and improve the state of practice in the area of pavement preservation, and it was always foreseen to be a partnership with federal, state, local, industry, and academic interests. So that part has not changed. The goals are closely related here. We want to increase pavement preservation acceptance, even though many states are really fairly far down this road. It is unplowed turf among many local agencies who really think that just collecting pavement condition data constitutes a pavement management system. So they're really not using that data to drive their decision making and so forth. So there's a lot of work to be done in that area. We want to support programs at all levels, federal, state, and local. The ETG was certainly happy with EDC 4 coming out with pavement preservation as one of the topic areas. We want to talk about what do our customers want and how do we express those wants in ways that are meaningful to the customer. And we want to support pavement preservation centers. There are a variety of them around. I've become more aware of them now in my job with the National Center than I had been before. And finally, we want to make sure that pavement preservation is integrated into pavement management. That's the only way we're going to really get these practices in our states in a permanent way. So who is involved? Well, the leadership has been really in a state of flux for a number of years now, and that is no understatement, but we have several people from Federal Highway Administration. Anita Bush is the co-chair. We have a variety of state members, including, anything you do with AASHTO, they want at least one representative of every region. Mike Rossi is the representative for the Northeast region. Other great representatives from all the regions. I did leave off John Donahue from Missouri is also on here, and sorry, John. We do have 2 representatives from local agencies, Richard Turner from Charleston County, South Carolina, and Sui Tan from the Los Angeles area. Industry, we have numerous representatives. We have Dave Peshkin as our token consultant, and I seem to be the token academician, if that's what I am these days. I'm never quite sure. So lots of people here. And we have working groups, just like every other group, just like the partnerships have working groups. We have working groups, and you can see the list of things that are going on there. I'm going to talk about some of the products that have been developed out of these these working groups. It's not all inclusive, but it's just to give you a flavor of what's going on. 2 synthesis statements have been submitted. During the state meeting this morning, I talked about the one on maintenance and preservation of centerline joints. But in addition to that, increasingly pavement preservation is an outsourced activity. And so synthesis that was done a number of years ago on contracting methods was really focused on major STIP new construction. And it really doesn't work so well. It isn't so applicable to these maintenance and operation treatments. So we've proposed another synthesis on contracting methods for the preservation activities. So 2 synthesis statements are in the hopper. Hopefully we'll get at least one of them funded. Jim Moulthrop with the Foundation for Pavement Preservation, they publish a journal, the Pavement Preservation Journal. They've been very helpful to the ETG in publishing some articles that we've written. We had one on how to judge the quality of your pavement preservation program. And following up on that list of 10 items, we're having articles on each of the items focusing on 1 or more, or 2 states that are particularly good at that aspect of a world-class pavement preservation program. The first one will be, Richard Turner did an article on support through all levels of the organization. That's going to come out in the spring, in the next edition. And then the following one, John Wilcoxon's article focusing on Kentucky DOT's programs. So those articles will continue in the future. FHWA they took the roadmap, the pavement preservation roadmap, was about 10 years old, and it really was time to look at it again and refresh it and add some new items in our new asset management world, and try and make sure that it stays relevant for the next decade. The proposals on that, it came out though as an EDC4 project task. The proposals were due on April 5th, and I don't know what the outcome is yet, so your guess is as good as mine. New checklist activities were moved to the Everyday Counts for initiative as well, and that the oversight of that contract has been transferred, I believe, to Antonio Nieves. We're not sure on exactly who is going to own that particular task moving forward. Another item that was a work group activity was to compile a list of national pavement preservation activities, and this was assigned to me, and at the last call I felt like a slackard because I really hadn't done that much yet. So guilt is a powerful motivator for me, and so I really got onto it and have now completed the list for the National Center, the Texas Pavement Preservation Center, the Center for Transportation Infrastructure and Safety, and now I'm waiting for some write-ups on the Federal Highway Administration Everyday Counts and Minroad NCAT. So those things are supposed to be in the mail to me any time now. And of course, if you have or know of a center that you haven't heard me mention, please just let me know and I'll write it down and we'll make sure it gets compiled into this list. The idea here is to facilitate transfer of information about what work is being done and has been done at all these different centers so that we don't keep duplicating our efforts. There is also a pavement preservation quality assurance group. I was not able to get an update on their activities. So there's the group, and we will have an update for you next time around. I'm a committee of 1 on the topic of coordination with regional partnerships. as part of my job as at the National Center. And of course Larry is here and Neil Galehouse is here as well. But we listen, we take notes, and we try and share what comes up in your meeting with people in the Southeast, the Midwest, the Rocky Mountain West. So it just helps to have that information flowing. And I also bring ideas to the ETG. Our next meeting is coming up next month in Charleston, South Carolina. You can get really good hotel rates if you go to the Deep South in the middle of summer. It's sure to be 105 degrees and humidity of 90%. Guaranteed, but it'll be beautiful. So June 12th and 13th in Charleston, South Carolina. What are some of the issues we've faced? Well, we've had leadership issues. That the leadership within Federal Highway Administration has changed at least 3 times in a 3-year period. And that makes it hard to keep making progress. It's not a criticism, it's just a fact. Just learned on Friday that Antonio is not going to be at the Charleston meeting. So once again, we're going to have this little stall in progress. We also have found that the Federal Highway Administration review process for any products that get developed is very time-consuming. It involves multiple reviews in-house, and then it goes to the lawyers. Unfortunately, the result of that is that we have essentially started publishing articles in the Foundation for Pavement Preservation under the author's organization title rather than under the ETG heading. And that's a shame. It's just a shame. And of course, just like everything else, everyone is doing this as a volunteer. They have a 40-hour-a-week job that takes more than 40 hours. So it is a labor of love. So now that you say those issues, what are the strengths? Everyone in the room is passionate about pavement preservation. They wouldn't be there otherwise. Many of the people in the room are experts in their own right, in their own areas, and they bring that expertise freely to others so that the conversations, the discussions are really at a very high level. Just like at the partnerships, over time, you develop really great friendships that make the work very, very fun to do, even when it's work. So I will not stop you from, well, I ran over 4 minutes, but I tried my best. Thanks for hearing.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.